He is a fresh face on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Occasionally we'll see him still put on a jersey every now and then in practice. It's one of the player development coaches, assistant coach Darreon Reddick joins us now officially a Saluki. Darreon, thanks so much for the time, man. How's summer been transitioning, getting part of Coach Nagy's staff for you?
Oh, no, it's been good. I want to say, though, to you, I think you're doing a good job, putting the program on and giving the spotlight to our players and coaches. So I was going to say, we appreciate you for sure.
No, appreciate you, brother. I mean, I know it's been a little bit probably of a whirlwind for you, just in terms of transitioning, getting to know the staff, and then helping the staff get players on campus. How would you describe what the last 2-3 months have been like for you?
I think it's been good, though. We kind of signed up for this. I think we have a great staff. We all get along. And we got to work. So we signed 10 guys in a month and a half, and kind of during that whole process, you got to learn who you're working with and how we like to work with each other, you know what I mean? So I think it's been a good process, and I honestly have no complaints about what we've been doing or how we've been doing. I think everything's been flowing smoothly, and I think we are happy with each other and what we have, produced.
Well, I had Coach Gibbs on a week ago. We kind of went through his progression as a player and how injuries really prevented him from having much of a career. For you, you had a really good playing career at Tennessee State. You played for Coach Dana Ford, who, of course, has a lot of experience within the Missouri Valley Conference. What did you take away from your playing days, Darreon, that really led you to want to be a coach?
That's a good question. Honestly, it has to do a lot with him, and I told him that, one, I'm a competitor. I like basketball, played my whole life. I like, winning, having a chance to win a championship. But more importantly, I just saw how he impacted me and then other players, that I came up with. Like, I've been around guys who are kind of on their last strike. Like, it's either basketball or I'm done. You know what I mean? And I watched them come in one way and leave with a degree, leave becoming a man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, if you could win championships, be a basketball coach, and impact lives, like, make good money doing it. It's kind of a good job, you know what I mean? It's not really a job. You're impacting lives and have a chance to play basketball, you know what I mean? So I kind of realized I wanted to be a coach after just being in college and seeing how you can impact people's lives while also winning.
Was it a long time ago when you did play? So there's that relatability factor.
Exactly.
How do you make that a huge positive in your role as a coach now, of being able to relate to guys, communicate to them, where maybe sometimes other people on staff can't have that same type of connection that you and Coach Gibbs have? Yeah,
I think it's good. And Coach Nagy told me that. I say, I know you're younger, but be yourself. And I know how it is in the social media area, because I was in it. I know how I feel to, you play good and you go on Twitter, everybody love you, and then you go on Twitter, you lose. It's like, man, these same people saying this. So I can relate as far as that aspect, and I know how I feel to. You may have a 6 a.m. practice, then you got a test you got to study for, and then you may have girlfriend issues. You know what I'm saying? So me being closer to their age, I kind of understand every emotion they're going through, and I kind of help them through that.
If you don't mind, dive in a little bit into understanding this day and age where social media is great. On one hand, it allows this type of segment that we're doing, what we've done all summer for our fan base to connect to you guys, to get to know them. And when you get into the year, man, when things are going great, social media is the best thing. I mean, you get onto it, it can somewhat be intoxicating in a way of how the highs can be. But there's also that low point. What did you find as a player that helped you navigate it to now as a coach, what you try to relate to the guys and helping them navigate these times?
It's a lot, Either some people don't get on social media at all, which could work for you. I would just try to say never get too high, never get too low. You know what I mean? And just stay true to yourself. Stay humble through it all. And, everybody gonna have opinions, you know what I mean? But just try to be the best teammates you could be to your teammates and to your coaches. That's who you need to really try to impress and, be happy with. You know what I mean? The people that you're going to war with and the coaches, you know what I mean? Everybody's going to have an opinion, you know what I mean? As long as you're doing what makes the coach happy and your brother's happy next to you, you should have peace within, you know what I mean? I think that's the main thing, because everybody has an opinion these days, and they're not inside the locker room. They don't know what you're doing every day.
How important do you believe it is, Coach Reddick, for guys to express themselves in the right way using their social media? And what I'm really getting at is, especially in today's day and age with NIL, where you can get out and you can meet fans, there's ways for you to interact, how important of an element that is for all of our guys, and not just basketball, all the athletes to say, showcase their personality, and it gives them an avenue to do that.
Social media definitely has a lot of pros, and like I said, you got to be smart. You got to be really smart, and honestly, I would, I'll have somebody maybe try to help you run your account for you, because you post the wrong thing, that can, it can go wrong. Both post the right thing, it could blow you up. But you got to be smart with it, be calculated with it, and understand that it definitely could boost you up in the right way. But also, if you do the wrong thing, it could hurt you.
Let's get to your path here to Carbondale.
Yeah.
What was it that stood out about this opportunity specifically to be with Coach Nagy and his staff that really stood out to you?
Well, it's a lot. Obviously, I'm from Belleville. I'm from this area. I'm a realistic person. I know what I can and can't do at my age. I just knew at my age right now, I thought I could have success here with this program, just being from the area. I played here. I know the coaches in the area. I can recruit this area pretty well. So I always envisioned myself being a coach here of some sort. And then just with Coach Nagy, man, just, I could speak about him all day, man. He's just a great person, for real. He told me when I first talked to him, he was like, I think that you could help us as well, you know what I mean? And I value that, because, like, with a guy with his resume, all the wins he's had, he's been coaching longer than I've been alive. He could easily say, hey, Reddick, you can come in and do this, my way or the highway. You can easily say that, you know what I'm saying? But he leans on me and all of his assistants, and I respect that. Like, anytime I bring a player to the table, he listens to me, and if he like it, we do it. If he doesn't, we move on. If it's a drill I want to do in practice, he let me do it, you know what I mean? I think when you're 28 and a young assistant, what more can you ask for when a coach like that just gives you the keys to be yourself?
Figuring out the best way for me to phrase this, but I think we all can relate to whatever job you have, of depending who your leader is, sometimes what maybe wasn't a strength before becomes a strength. There's something, man, I didn't know that was a strength for me.
Yeah.
Kind of equate that to now being under Coach Nagy these last couple of months. One of the areas that he does a really good job in practice with you guys is he gives you as an assistant, hey, if this is a strength of yours, I want you to take the lead on it.
Yep.
Has there been anything over the last 2-3 months, Darreon, where you're like, wow, I didn't quite know that this was a strength of mine, but now it's really starting to show and starting to flourish?
Yeah, I would say so. I think for everybody, I think you're a sum of all your days. You know what I mean? I think my career coming to this point, it led me to be ready for this opportunity. I started off doing JUCO 2 years, and JUCO is just, you do everything. I was the weight coach, I was driving the van to the game, I was recruiting, and then I spent 2 years Division II where I really found my coaching voice, where I got a chance to be a coach, you know what I mean? And then last year at SIUE, my first year being Division I, I was a player development type role, recruited, but I think being here is just coach. It means a lot when a championship level coach tells you, hey, I trust you, what you're saying is right, and go do it. Like, if I'm coaching, he won't butt in at all. You know what I mean? I think that's just a confidence booster for anybody. You know what I mean? So I think it's me finding my coaching voice even more. Like, when you talk, they do listen. You got a presence. You know what I mean? I think that's the main thing that I'm just realizing. Like, speak up. You know what I mean? Speak up. Talk more. You have value to this program more than just player development. You know what I mean? So I think that's the main thing I'm really seeing and really stepping into, is just being, a real coach, having a voice.
And so much can be made about one guy, and no doubt that's why Coach Nagy gets the recognition that he does and how much success he's had. But it takes a staff. As much as you guys preach, look, you need everybody on the team to be in unison and lockstep. You guys as a staff need to be that way. So what have you liked about the staff?
Man, it's been a great transition, and we all know our roles, and we kind of stick to it. You know what I mean? And like I said, nobody try to step on anybody's toes. Like Coach Hawk, I've known Coach Hawk from a distance because he was at Quincy. I was at Missouri S&T, so we kind of coached against each other. You know what I mean? So I respect him. And another guy, he's been coaching probably longer than I've been alive, but he tells me, hey, D-Red, like, you're doing a good job. Like, he may see things I could do differently, but it's not just like demanding you because I can, you know what I'm saying? And then when it comes to like Will and Vaughn, they've been in the valley, you know what I mean? The same thing. They tell me, hey, you're doing a good job. Hearing that from guys that been here before, it's a good thing, you know what I mean? And then, Tay been with Coach before, you know what I mean? So he gives us an insight on, hey, like, just before we go out here, make sure we do this, you know what I mean? And J-Mac is a beast, you know what I mean? J-Mac, keeps everything going for us. But as a whole, man, I think the staff, man, it's a great fit. Like, we don't try to overtalk anybody. We got ideas. If we like it, we do it. You know what I mean? I think it's good, and it's still early. I think growing on to the season, time for war, we get even closer. But I'm a fan of the staff for sure.
No question it should look this way. If not, then it makes everybody a little bit more worried. But the version of the team today that we saw is much better than the version you saw in early June.
Yeah, for sure.
Where has this group grown the most throughout the summer, where you feel like Coach Reddick, that you guys as a staff said this is where we need to really focus on how the team's really improved.
A couple of things I think they just trust in the coaches, which Coach kind of hinted earlier, man, just like trust us. We have really a whole new team. Even the returners, they've been here, but they haven't played for him. You know what I'm saying? So just trust the process. Know that it may be some ugly moments, some rough patches, but just trust. You got to trust Coach's resume that we're going to find a way to do it. Even the assistant coach, we all won at a high level before. Just trust us. So I think guys are just buying in day by day, And then I think I'm really impressed with our group is the guys want to lead, they're leading. But the guys that don't want to lead is okay, but they're being followers. You know what I mean? My coaches tell me either you're going to be a leader or a follower, but you can't be in the middle. You know what I mean? If you don't want to lead, that's okay. Just make sure you follow. And I think we're doing a good job of guys accepting criticism for, even the player-to-player conversation. You know what I mean? I think that's big for the team.
Skill set, talent, all of that is what you need.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also that part, Darreon, of having some dog in it. As I'm sure we've had
that's the most important thing.
Knowing that's most important. Some say you can't really coach in the guys. You either have it or you don't. But take us through maybe what it was like for you personally. Were you always someone that had that dog in you as a player? Was that someone where you'd had to find a way maybe to flip a switch? What was your personal progression? And now as a coach, what do you make of the group now of it's not like you need 14 dogs on a team, but you definitely need to have those core guys who are going to fight you tooth and nail.
Yeah, you definitely need some. Me, I was more, I was super talented, really kind of laid back, but I always was ready on game day, you know what I mean? And some guys like that, some guys, they were just born ultimate competitors, you know what I mean? But I was around some, and I thought my college coach did a good job of knowing what it took to motivate me, you know what I mean, which was all within, you know what I mean. Some guys like, Damian May, he wakes up, I'm ready to go to war, you know what I mean. And I think it's good having a balance of that, you know what I mean, which we do. But I just know what it takes. I could tell if a guy if he needs a little extra pushing, I could tell, you know what I mean. I could tell if a guy he good, I ain't gotta talk to him, you know what I'm saying. So I think just seeing both ends, it helps.
Now, of course, we brought up how you played for Coach Dana Ford when you were in college, which means you got two of his former guys, Damian Mayo and Tyler Bay on staff.
Yeah.
How was that communication like of now Tyler and Damian both being here? Damian, of course, very familiar in the league. He's played for a couple of years. Tyler, maybe a little bit more of an unknown of what Coach Ford said, hey, these are these things that these guys can do that now you can kind of help them and getting acclimated here.
So a crazy fun fact is I actually worked at Missouri State last summer. You know what I mean? I was hired there as a director of ops for the summer before I went to SIUE. So I actually was on campus with Mayo and Tyler Bay for like a month. You know what I mean? And that's what kind of made me even draw to them, right? When my first day of practice, like Mayo was who he was now there. But he was a sophomore around older guys. And I was like, I don't care what he averaged next year. Like, he's a winner. He's a leader. He's a dog. Tyler Bay, 6'9", could play any position on the court, talented as all can be, and just has to be coached a little, coached a little harder and just, trust us, you know what I mean? But I think highly of both of them. And obviously Dana Ford, he's still in the picture giving me advice on how to coach him, you know what I mean? I think that's the relationship that me and him have, you know what I mean? But it all came full circle, you know what I mean? And I think me being at Missouri State kind of helped with that whole process.
Antoine mentioned how initially when he was at SIUE, Twan kind of got connected to you through the SIUE route.
Yeah.
Him this summer, his motor in terms of rebounding is just exponentially high. Was that something that you knew from the get-go when you saw him? Man, this dude's motor can translate to the Division I level.
That's the main thing. Everybody talked about how hard he plays, and one thing about Twan that I like, man, he's so coachable. You know what I mean? Like he moves on quickly. He's adversity built. He has a story. I know you're just getting to know him now, but he has a story where he's been through a lot and still going through a lot. You know what I mean? But one thing he does very well is move on. You know what I mean? So you can coach him. He can miss a layup, get scored on. He move on. I'm on the next play. You know what I mean? He's very, very coachable. Yeah, he plays hard. He's high motor. He played at a really good JUCO, New Mexico Junior College. Played in a really good league. You know what I mean? So I knew his skill would translate. If you could play hard and be coachable, you'll have success. You know what I mean?
There's multiple ways to win. If there was just one unified way, it probably would not be as much fun as what we're doing now.
Yeah.
But in terms of the principles that Coach Nagy really preaches from an offensive and defensive perspective, for you, Coach Reddick, how different or similar has it been the coaches you've worked with in the past, and how that can be a good thing of whether it's kind of common of what you've been across or also different? It forces you to get out of your comfort zone a bit.
I think for the main part, everybody knows just defense and rebound and win championships. It's kind of a cliche saying, but I think it's truth to that. So we want to be the best defending team in the league and the best rebounding team in the league. So we got to run. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the same. What I respect about Coach Nagy is, like, he's won multiple championships. So you would think coming into that situation is like, oh, he must be overly detailed. He must be cross all your T's, dot all your I's. Just like every detail matters, you would think. But honestly, with him is like, let's keep the main things the main things. Like we don't want to overcoach these kids so they're playing thinking instead of playing hard. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of surprised me, which I respect. He wants to keep things simple. You know what I mean? Like, you would think winning a championship is just so tough and overly detailed, but really the main thing is you got to play hard. Just play hard as you can. You know what I'm saying? It will find a way to win. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's details on certain sets and cuts we got to do and spacing and stuff like that, which we teach, but he doesn't overcomplicate things at all. You know what I mean? He's one guy to come in, play hard, and talk. You know what I mean? And then we'll have success. So I respect that a lot about him. I thought it would be the other way. It's like, everywhere. But it's just, let's do that.
Communication, I know, is what you preach to the guys every day. And I know it's going to be a key point of emphasis moving forward in the summer. But it's kind of been a common question I've asked, Darreon, is what has you most optimistic? Like, what has you encouraged about what this group's continuing to do each and every day? Also understanding there's a lot of work between now and when that ball first gets tipped off.
Like we said earlier, I think the main thing is that we have a team full of dogs and competitors. We have a lot of coaching staff meetings every day, and not in one meeting have we ever said, like, man, we soft. We got a soft team. We got to rough them up, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. If we have a team full of dogs, I always feel like you have a team full of dogs, you'll find a way. Everybody talk about shooting and the playmaking. Like, if you compete, basketball was about competing. In the day it's just, man on man, who wants it more, I feel like. And with Coach's background and, Hawk and the guys we got on staff, Vaughn, Will, Tay, all these basketball minds together, we'll find a way for us to the game plan and scheme. The scheme is going to be there. But if you got a scheme and no dogs, you probably going to lose. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have the dogs in place. We got to put the schemes together. And I trust his staff, with my whole heart. I think we'll find a way.
I think it's a good point to end on, too, kind of what you allude to, is a lot of fans, and I even think media guys, you can try to focus on maybe the stuff that's flashy, which is shooting ability and et cetera. People can ask me all the time, man, how's the team look like? Who's the best shooter, et cetera. But to your point, and what I hope will show true about this team, too, is, look, even the best shooting teams in the country, there's going to be nights where they're going to have to find a way to win a game. Is that what has you optimistic about the way Coach Nagy's putting it together? Is it's not that you guys don't emphasize shooting, you do, but it's going to come down whether we're going to rebound the darn ball and whether we're going to be tough enough.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling you. Even with my playing days, like, we weren't a great offensive team when I played at Tennessee State. You can look up stats. But we did guard and rebound. Like, that was Dana Ford's whole thing. Like, we're going to guard and rebound. And I swear, every game we was always had a chance to win. I always got to make a couple threes. You want to make a couple threes, you know what I'm saying? Yes. We'll make a couple threes. So I just know for a fact, man, with the team we have, if we just guard and rebound every day and then step and make a couple shots when we need to, the timely baskets, I think we'll have a great year. I really do, man, because these kids, they play hard, they compete. That's what it's about. I swear, on them days on the road, we going to a Bradley where there's, no fans in there. You got to be a dog. You go to Indiana State where there's no fans in there. We're on the road. Everybody, you got to be dogs. You know what I mean? For the most part, the dogs will win. You know what I mean? And hopefully, we just make a couple threes. We get a better.
Now, I have to give you the platform to do this on our way out. But last week, Tay Gibbs, Coach Gibbs, and I, we were talking about, you guys do a lot of shooting competitions.
Come on now.
You still have that competitive drive in you, Darreon. So I'll give you the floor a little bit. What's been your record this summer when you've had the opportunity to go up against Coach Gibbs, but also I know Joe and Fox and Alex and the other managers will chip in. Like, what's kind of been your reputation so far this summer?
So I talked to Tay after the interview. I said, Tay, I know you, I heard it was a great interview, but I think you lied a little bit. But me and Tay, we on teams. So we do coaches versus the managers, right? So me and Tay undefeated. I'll just put it like that.
Okay, all right.
Me and Tay undefeated, all right? Me and Tay undefeated.
Okay, so coaches stick together, though. That's a good sign.
Yeah, me and Tay together.
Maybe a sign that the manager's got to get in the gym a little bit more.
Right.
They just can't rebound the whole time.
Exactly.
They got to find a way to get in.
Exactly. But if me and Tay ever had to go head-to-head, I got money on me. I got money on me. I got money on you. But Tay, my guy, though, is coaches versus managers all the time.
Darreon, it's been so much fun getting to know you this summer. Appreciate this conversation. Look forward to the short, 2 weeks we have. I mean, that's the amazing thing. 14 days left.
It flew by. Coach said today is 14 workouts left.
Yeah.
it's like we're just getting started. But you know, it's been a good summer, you know, and I'm excited, you know, for the year. I know the fans are, and you know, we're ready to work. We're ready to work.
Darreon, appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
Communication. Okay, let's go. Dogs on 3. 1, 2, 3. Dogs.